Okay, here we are. So, today has been kind of a long day, but a pretty exciting day. A Stegosaurus tail. Extremely rare. I don't think that's one we have yet. So that's exciting. And then I thought I saw like something move out of the corner of my eye. What the fuck? This is weird. Maybe it was my hair. I have kind of long hair. I should probably get it cut. And a trilobite that I don't, that we already have. Let's see, the amazing writing desk. Okay. And 12,800 points. So a little bit more, a new personal best. Lovely. Today was a little bit of a long day, like I said. Basically, what happened was today was the day I decided, okay, by the end of today, I'm just going to have people playtest the Game Jam game. And, you know, whatever state the game is in, by the end of the day, we're gonna do some playtesting because I just really need to, this isn't the Stego, this isn't a Stego, that's a Plecio. I just really need to get this game in front of people so we can figure out, you know, what they think, if this concept is actually good, and if we, you know, seem like we're pulling it off right. Yeah, that's the Stego. Okay, so that's the last piece, actually. Oh, perfect. So let's get this donated real quick. Donate the Stego tail. Ooh, I say, a Stego tail. Finally, the day has come. Our Stegosaurus is complete. Dare I believe it? Might this not be some cruel dream? Nay, it is true indeed. I say to you, hoo, spectacular, superb, my whole being thrills. Now then, where to begin? Much has been written about the noble Stegosaurus. It was the largest of the plated dinosaurs and lived during the late Jurassic period, what. It is famous for the 2 rows of alternating bony plates surmounting its body and its formidable tail spikes. Kasmash! Yes, that's correct. It's a tail spike chop. Oh, please pardon me. I was overcome with emotion. You have our deepest, most profound gratitude. Cool. Well, that's another one out of the way. How many do we have left? Let me double check here. Got 1... this one's all done. 2, 3... We just have 4 fossils left. So that's pretty crazy. I didn't expect that to go so quick. And of course we have no paintings. We have almost no insects because it's winter still. And we've got quite a few fish. Almost half the total fish in the game. So that's pretty cool. I guess we can stop by Nook's now and sell this fossil, check out what else he's got. So yeah, there was a lot I needed to finish up for the game to be like reasonably playtestable in my eyes. I needed to finish up the second, all the behaviors for the second enemy type. And this sapling here reminds me, I want to check out that money tree I planted yesterday. I needed to finish up all the behaviors and mechanics for the second enemy type we had planned, which is like a big, slow-moving enemy with a melee attack and a charge ability. This is kinda cute, actually, but I really don't have a place for it. This is adorable. There's a bird. I want that. Yeah, I'll take it. And I had already, as I think I mentioned yesterday, I don't need either of these. I had already started on that second enemy type, so I'd made a good amount of progress with that already. I just needed to finish it up and kind of polish it up a bit. And then after that, I needed to polish up the first enemy type a bit more as well, mess with some of its behaviors, because I wasn't fully happy with it. Actually, wait, let me take another look at this. Ornate wall. Nah. So I did all of that. I also had to go grocery shopping today. That's interesting, but not really. I don't really want it. And then Goosebumps also had a vet appointment today. Turns out he's got allergies. And we've got to put drops in his ears now. But apparently it should just be like a food allergy, probably not an environmental allergy, which means it'll be much easier to handle. We just have to find the right food brand for him. So we're going to try a sensitive skin and stomach brand and see if that works. We already knew he was a little bit sensitive to food, because when we first got him, we had to go through a number of different types of dog food for him to see, because like a lot of them just didn't work. It like made him sick or like made him do other gross things that I'm not going to go into detail on. And we finally settled on one that seemed to do pretty well. It was like the best one we could find. But apparently it's still not quite perfect for him, and so we've gotten a specific recommendation from the vet now that we're gonna try, and hopefully that'll work out for him. I forgot to sell this fossil, didn't I? Yes, I did. So yeah, there was also that vet appointment, and then of course I needed to cook a nice Saturday dinner. You gotta be kidding me. These trees are they're just never gonna grow. You know what, maybe that's fine. Maybe it's just not meant to be. I cooked some nice beef gyudon for Lucy and I for Saturday. It was really nice, and we still have some left over, so I'll probably eat that for lunch tomorrow. A nice Saturday dinner for Lucy and I. And so it was pretty busy around needing to get things fixed up and polished up for playtesting. On top of finishing up those two enemies, there were also like some other... Oh my goodness. Hi Maddie, you were looking directly at me when I entered this acre. So you're one of those odd nocturnal folk, aren't you? Yep, I am. I stay up all night. Give me work. Uh-huh, I do have something. No, I'm lying. Okay. Let's just chat. Come on, let's talk. Do you want to bargain on some furniture? It's an executive toy. I'll sell it to you for 1,010 bells. Probably run you twice that much at Tom Nook's store. Sure. Thanks. You know, 1,010 bells might have been a little steep, Yippee. Well, I already gave you my executive toy, so it's too late to back out now. I know you'll find a good place for it, Yippee. Just don't think about the price too much, okay? Alright. Well, we've got an executive toy now. What was the other stuff? There were like a bunch of things that I just kept realizing I needed to do. Let me pull up. Yeah, so I realized there was one like egregious bug that I needed to fix when you shot the parasite out and it hit like two enemies that were standing on top of each other, because I don't have enemies colliding with each other in the game, because you're kind of up against like a lot of enemies at once, and it can get really dense, and that looks weird if they're all colliding with each other, and it kind of looks fine in a top-down 2D game with like Y sorting and stuff. It doesn't look that bad to not have them collide with each other. And so I just don't have them collide with each other at all. In fact, I don't even have the player collide with enemies either. Let's check the wishing well here too. And so if you shot the parasite at two enemies that were on top of each other, it would infect both of them at once. And it's still Acre A5 because of course it is. So that's obviously a problem, because you're supposed to only be able to control one character at a time, and being able to control two at a time breaks a lot of things. So I had to get that fixed. And then after that I was like, hold on, we haven't even put a health bar in this yet, to keep track of your health. And of course, a health bar in this game is more complicated than it would be in a regular game, because you're constantly jumping between enemies. Oh, hey, what's up? I came from far away. I wish to sell carpets. You'll give me a carpet and some money, and I'll give you a carpet. A very exotic carpet. It's called a trade-in. What do you think? You want a carpet? I don't think I have a carpet on me. Oh, you'd like a trade-in. You're very lucky. I will sell you a boxing ring mat. You give me any carpet and 3,000 bells. Can you do this? I don't really want a boxing ring mat, actually, so no thanks. You don't want one? Too bad. Yes, very bad. You can't get them anywhere. You make me sad. I will come here again and try another trade-in. Talk to me again. Okay. Yeah, I'll see what you have then. I'm just not very interested in what you have today, I guess. Yeah, so health bars are more complicated in this game because you're constantly changing enemies, and those enemies will all have different enemy types have different max health values, and of course they're all going to have different current health values as well. And then sometimes you're not even, you don't even have a host. Sometimes you're just crawling around as the parasite. And so you've got to take care of, you got to make sure that it's always keeping track of the health of like whatever state the player is currently in. So it's a little more complicated than just a normal health bar would be. So that took, I mean, it didn't take that long to set up, but it took longer than a normal health bar would have to set up. And these things really add up over time. So I had to do that. And then I needed to tune the level generation values for the first 3 levels, because I decided we could very easily, like, to me it made sense to have the playtest just be 3 levels, because the 2 enemy types we have are the 2 enemy types we want to be present within the first 3 levels, and so I decided we would have the playtest be 3 levels. And the way the levels were generating, optical shirt, the way the levels were generating, with just like, you know, all the default values completely unchanged, was for the most part, there would be like one big room in the center, and then like maybe there would be some like straight paths leading off of it going nowhere. And that's not very fun to explore. So I messed with the level generation values a little bit to see if I could get some more interesting generation with like kind of multiple rooms and stuff, and I got some stuff I was kind of happy with, and so I went with that, and I messed around with the amount of enemies that would spawn in each level, got something I was kind of happy with that. And then I really needed to mess with balancing a lot. And after like I just kept playing through the levels and making tiny little changes to each enemy and each player attack for each enemy. And that, like, as I started to make those changes, that was when it really felt like everything started to come together. And like before, yeah, sure, you could go into a level, kill all the enemies, move on to the next level, kill all the enemies, move on to the last level, kill all the enemies, and then get like sent back to the title screen. It's like, wow, you beat the video game, congrats, fucking whatever. But once I started to actually be able to play it within this context of like this is what the levels are gonna look like, and I'm this is how these enemies generally behave, and understanding that I want the game to be decently difficult and pretty fast paced, then I was finally able to take a look at how the game actually plays and feels and make a lot of adjustments based on that. Oh, it's in Newton's Cradle. That's cool, I guess. And have it all actually come together and feel like the game exists for a reason. You know, it's not something that you just go in and press the buttons in the right order until you get to the end or whatever. Like, it's something that's actually challenging you, and like when you play it, it's like asking you, it's like, can you actually beat this? You know, there's something more substantial there, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. And so that was really cool to see, especially seeing as it started to come together, seeing that the formula we have going, even if it still needs a lot of work, and a lot of balancing, and you know, there are a couple bugs still and a couple things missing, and like the big slow melee enemy has some problems. It's like not the most interesting enemy, it's not the most fun to control. It's like, even with all of that, just seeing it all come together and seeing firsthand that this mechanic we're building the game around, with like being a parasite and you know, jumping onto enemies and using them as hosts and stuff, is a very intriguing mechanic, and it's very fun to mess with. That was a very satisfying feeling after so long of just having no idea like how this is going to turn out. I really think once we get more of the mechanics in that really encourage switching bodies and like give a lot more interesting effects for doing so, I think then it's really going to start to come together. And then of course that, in combination with balancing and tweaking enemies to feel better and stuff, I think we've got a good idea here, and I think it's going very well. As far as the playtest goes, we had 7 people play in total. I don't know what I'm doing. What am I doing here? I'm gonna go look for more fossils. We had 7 people play in total. And of course, they were all friends of ours. We haven't been able to find someone who like isn't a friend of ours and is not afraid to hurt our feelings with the feedback they give us. So I've taken all the feedback we've gotten with a grain of salt, because generally, if your friend asks you to play their video game and say, hey, please critique this, you're gonna say, yeah, it's pretty good. Even if you don't think it's that great, that's just what you're gonna say because it's a friend of yours. You don't want to hurt their feelings because you like them. They're your friend. So I've taken everything they've said with a grain of salt, but for the most part, not even for the most part, they all said that they enjoyed the game, at least to some extent. Of those 7 people, I watched 3 people play the game firsthand and like experience it for the first time. And I think I got like a little bit lucky with the people that I watched play it, because one of those people was someone who is like pretty well experienced with top-down shooters like this. I don't think he's ever played Nuclear Throne, but he's played a lot of like Enter the Gungeon and stuff. So he really knew what was going on. He was the we were all in a call together. He was the first one of all of them to play it. And so he was the one who was kind of experimenting with the mechanics and figuring out how the game worked and stuff. And so when he played it, he kind of fumbled around for a little bit at first, but then as he started to pick it up, like the first level was basically a breeze for him, the second level was a little bit more challenging, and then the third level was where the challenge really started to pick up in pace. Then the next person who was playing was someone who had really never played any games like this before in the past, and so they really struggled with the game. They probably were on level 1 for about 5 minutes before they were able to move on to the next level. And then the person after that was actually my wife, and she was a lot more in between, because she's played Nuclear Throne before and stuff. She's played a lot of Hades. She's played a lot of Hades, and so she knows more about like what's going on with this stuff. And for her, the first level was a little bit of a challenge, and then the second level was a little bit more difficult. But she was able to get to the third level with difficulty. And I personally am, I think I'm just, oh wait, no, I still gotta mail off these fossils, so I'm gonna do that real quick. Personally, I'm really happy with that level of difficulty. Once we get more levels, I want to spread it out more across all the levels, have it start a little bit easier, and then probably end even harder than level 3 was in this playtest. But I'm really happy with that difficulty spread of like someone who's never played a game in this genre has a decent amount of difficulty. Someone who's played, quite a bit of the twin stick shooter genre can make it to the end with some difficulty. And then, there's that person in between who kind of struggles and, can get through it, but with a fair amount of difficulty along the way. I'm not describing this very well, but the point is, that's kind of exactly what I was imagining and hoping for as far as difficulty goes. for the game. So I'm really happy that that worked out basically perfectly. People said they really liked the jumping mechanic, where you can jump and infect a new host at any time. I think the biggest problem people had with the game was just that the melee enemy, like I mentioned before, just wasn't that interesting. Was not didn't feel the best to play as, and was a little bit like fighting against that enemy in a lot of situations feels really swingy, if that makes sense. Like, you can be fighting it and just have absolutely no problem, and then all of a sudden you're just dead. So that's something we're gonna have to mess with a bit, and see what we can do to fix that up. But despite the fact that you know, it was our friends playing, and of course our friends are gonna say, hey, yeah, this is good, I like it. There was definitely, at least with the three friends I watched play it, there was a noticeable level of excitement that you don't always get when someone's just saying they like something for the sake of saying they like something, or not trying to hurt someone's feelings. They were clearly excited about the game I was working on, which is really cool, and it felt really genuine. And so I think that's a really good sign as well. So I'm feeling good about what we've got. We just really need to tune it up. And of course, I'm an amateur game designer. I have no fucking idea what I'm doing. I started working on games 2 years ago, and most of that has just been programming and not much designing, actually. I mostly, for the most part, what I've been doing is other people will tell me some sort of design or mechanic that they want for something, and then I'll program it. And of course, there is a level of design that you have to apply when you're doing the really fine, there is a level of granularity and fine detail that you can't get to when you're just describing a mechanic and even just imagining it in your head without actually implementing it. And so I'm still practicing a level of game design by implementing mechanics, even if those mechanics aren't mine, because there are a lot of gaps you have to fill in, that you just have to figure out yourself, because just describing a mechanic and just imagining a mechanic doesn't fill in every single gap that a game has to cover, So I have a little bit of design experience, I guess, but I am really just a fish out of water, honestly, still, as far as design goes. And so the fact that people seem to like it at all is just frankly amazing to me, and I'm really happy that people like it at all. So I'm feeling good about this, and now we just have to finish it. we hope we have enough time to do everything else we want to do while fixing all the other problems and stuff. So we'll see what happens. But I guess that's it for today. So I'll see you tomorrow.